we could bring more stars onto the show, but it was really so hot at the time. Batman was like the #1 and #2 show in the world, not just in the United States. So it was really terrific. And of course, Adam, my dear friend, invented the very famous dance, the Batusi. Why don't you tell him how you came up with the idea of the Batusi that you told me the night before? What was it that you got in mind there?
It's not true.
He's already defending it.
Well, I just have a lot of natural rhythm. The Batusi. I was driving to the studio, and there was some music on my radio in the car. And suddenly I felt the spirit. And I began to move while drinking my coffee and texting. Anyway, I don't know how I came up with that. Actors are strange people. You think they come up with things instantly, spontaneously, creatively. But that's somewhat true, but usually you spend weeks, days, nights, whatever, thinking about it, visualizing. And I think when you visualize, whether it's your homework, whether it's your job, whether it's driving your car, to visualize is very important, because you come in with all of the moves, or most of the things around you, already prepared. And if you don't know what you're doing, look out. But if you do, and you're prepared, oh, it's so beautiful. The Batusi.
Did you want to give them a demonstration?
Thank you so much. Thank you very hard. I can't do it without my cape.
I'm sure we can come up with a cape. I think there's a man down there who's got a cape.
No. I need a cape and cowl, and my tights have to itch.
You're trouble, Ward. You're trouble. You guys want to keep going some more? Yeah? Let's take some more.
Hi, my name's Tyler from Kill Lou, and you guys were the first Batman and Robin I ever watched on a VHS tape. And my question was, did you know when you started playing Batman and Robin that you would inspire generations after the show was canceled to love it?
Did you, 50 years ago, did you ever think you'd be here today
No.
and inspire generations
No.
different?
No. We didn't know you'd be here. This is wonderful. Look, I am the luckiest actor in the world. I mean, I'm not doing the new Batman movies and so on, but I've had over 60 years of this craziness. And you people have always come out to see me. This is great. I've done some of the worst movies in the history of Hollywood, but I'm still here. I think if you're honest with people, have a sense of humor, and really care about them, maybe your career goes a little longer.
Yeah.
Here. That's good. Yeah. Let's go back up to the mic.
Hello, Mr. Ed. Hello, Mr. Ward. Brian Falchio. My question for you is, out of all the actors on the show Batman, who is your favorite to work with?
After Batman, who did you like to
Who
work
is your favorite person to work with in the Batman series?
Who was your favorite person to work with on the Batman series? Am I getting that right?
Yes.
We're getting a lot of echo up here, so it's a little hard to hear. But on the Batman series, who was your
Oh,
favorite
that's
person
easy.
to work with?
That is easy.
Well, let's see. That really actually is a very tough question.
It's easy.
No, that's right. Give me another 100. It was Adam West, of course.
No, I meant Catwoman.
I warned you. He's very obsessed with her.
Well, wait a minute. She gave me curious stirrings in my utility bag. introduction as Riddler, and Pengy Baby, as Meredith, as Penguin. How about you, bro?
I'll tell you, one of the actors that I really liked working with was Vincent Price, who played Egghead. That was fun because Adam and I had a chance to get into this gigantic egg fight. And always as a kid I got in trouble for throwing eggs, but this time I got paid for throwing eggs. So that was a lot of fun. And one piece of trivia you guys haven't asked about, but often people ask, is that I was personal friends with Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee and I lived in the same complex. We used to spar together. And a piece of trivia was that, of course, he played Kato, remember, in the one episode? And piece of trivia was that Bruce Lee's first filmed fight scene of his career was fighting me on Batman. So it's a kind of interesting piece of trivia. And of course, he became probably the most famous martial artist in film ever. And he was really a terrific guy. So just a little piece of trivia.
That's great.
Thanks.
Who's next?
Hi, I'm Diana. Thank you guys for being here. My question is actually about the Bruce Lee fight, so that's good timing. There was always this rumor that it was supposed to end a little differently and it wasn't supposed to be a draw. Was that the actual scripted original ending to that episode?
She was wondering if it was supposed to end differently, that it was supposed to, it ended in a draw, but there's
No,
rumor it was written different.
No, not at all. No, the whole point of it is because when Bruce and I, not on camera, would spar, it was really rough, but they didn't want that. Batman was not designed to look like people were getting hurt or that there was any real danger. And in the episode with the Green Hornet and Kato, because both sides were the good guys, they absolutely wanted to make sure that it came out even and looked fair and even, because that was the same producer who was launching the Green Hornet 6 months later. It came out on television. So no, it was designed to be just the way it was.
Yeah. Thanks, Bert. Thank you. Good question.
Hi, first I want to say it's such an honor to meet you. You guys are my childhood heroes. I used to watch the show ever since I was 2, and thank you so much for being here. So my question is, there were a lot of back climbs. I love the back climbs. Which one was your favorite?
The back climb. Which was your favorite back climb that you guys did, going up the buildings? Your favorite back climb?
Well, we never knew who to expect popping out of a window. We never wanted to know. We wanted to be surprised and play the moment. And I guess my favorite might have been Phyllis Diller or even Jerry Lewis.
Well, what about your girlfriend, Betty White?
Oh, Betty White?
We were much younger then, Bert.
He's going to ask for that 100 back, you know that. Yeah, they were great. And tell them how they did those climbing up the walls, how they actually filmed that.
We put the wall on his side at about a 6-degree angle. And then, to make it look like we had gravity working against us, the prop guys tied fishing line filament to the corners of our capes and pulled on them as we pretended to be climbing up the building. I'm so sorry to disappoint you. It was really tough.
Oh, that's great. Let's go back out to the mic there. Thanks for your questions.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Raymond McKay from Vancouver, and my question is for Adam West. What's your favorite other character other than Batman that you voiced?
Yeah, all the characters you played that you voiced, other than Batman, what's your favorite aside from Batman?
Oh, that's a good question. It could be the wise old parrot, or it could be the captain.
How about the Grey Ghost?
The Grey Ghost, or the Panzera. Grey Ghost. I love. We may even do a series of the Grey Ghost. But I think, yes, the mayor of Crowell. Because it's totally crazy. And it is fun. And I really enjoy, working with a very talented Seth MacFarlane. Yeah, he's a genius. And probably the richest man in Hollywood right now.
Thanks for your question. Next one.
Hi, this is Josh from St. John, New Brunswick. I have a question for Burt Ward. Back in 2014, Conan O'Brien was on the Howard Stern show, and he was talking about how you went to Harvard and did a speech with the Robin suit. O'Brien rushed the stage, stole your suit, and took off. Did you ever have a thought to call Adam to get the cowl on and teach that pesky O'Brien a lesson?
It is a true story, and I was surprised because the first time I heard it, I was on his show guesting, and I didn't realize it was him that had come up on the stage and said, the security, we've got to get this costume, in a safe spot. But it was true, and it is kind of funny, and whenever I do his show, he always likes to tell that story. I think he had a fond memory of that.
We're getting down to the last few minutes, guys, so we'll take a couple more questions, and we'll get through as many as we can. But again, I'm going to remind you that if you don't get your question answered, come see the guys at the table. Probably 12:30, 1 o'clock after we do the photo op, which we hope to see you guys at. So let's take another question.
Hi, my name is Heidi. I'm from Toronto. My question is for Bert. What was your favorite holy line, and then which one did you think was the most silliest one that you had to say?
What's your favorite holy line? There was 365.
What was the rest of what you were saying?
And was there any you found really silly?
Silly? Well, each one of those lines actually had to be appropriate to the situation. You know what I'm saying? In other words, we had all these writers on Batman because we were doing shows every week, and they couldn't have the same writer write every show because there was just too much work to do. So different writers wrote different episodes, and they didn't always get the holies right. They didn't really get the idea of what it was. So I was fortunate because I could make choices, you know what I'm saying, where if I thought it wasn't right, I could make a suggestion. But there's true 378 of them, but they were always appropriate to the situation. Would you like me to do one? Yeah! Holy strawberries, Batman, are we in a jam?
You know what I like? I like the Mexican restaurant. And he turned to me and he said, "Holy guacamole." Simple but effective.
Let's go back to the mic.
Adam and Bert, I was here actually in 1986 for your first appearance. You were here actually in costume then, so it's kind of surreal to be here now for your last Canadian appearance. I wanted to ask you, who were your childhood heroes growing up that made you want to become heroes yourself to generations to come?
Childhood. Who are your childhood heroes? And again, guys, we're having a lot of trouble hearing, and that's why I'm repeating these guys, but it's childhood heroes. When you guys were growing up, who do you guys look up to and admire?
My dad.
Yeah.
And then on the silver screen, I just love Gary Cooper and all those great stars. They just don't make them like that anymore. They don't make them like you anymore, Bert.
No, it's true. Better off not having.
Oh, yes.
But for me, I won't use the microphone again.
But take mine.
All right, there we go. On one of the episodes, we had a very famous bad guy. You probably wouldn't know the name, but for me, as a kid growing up, when I watched these movies, and these television shows and stuff, there was this actor named George Raft, who was, this guy was like very scary, and when I would watch, oh yes, yes. And also, but we had some great actors and actresses, you know, so many, you know, Joan Collins, who was, you know, on Dynasty, she was on our show, she played the siren. We had some great actors and actresses. Actually, my own father was an actor, you don't know this, Adam, but he didn't do too well. He was on Broadway and played an unborn child. So, I don't know exactly how you would do that.
Well, this runs in the family.
Yeah. Stayed in the family, yeah.
Guys, I am so glad you were part of history today because it is the last time these guys will be in Toronto as a dynamic duo. As I mentioned, we are going to do a photo op with the Batmobile and then back to the table, sign some autographs. You now have to make the most noise you've ever made for the classic dynamic duo.